I realized, like, if I want to tell stories to the world which are inspiring and fascinating, why am I living the most boring and mundane story I could possibly choose to live in? Like, it's illogical. All of the most valuable experiences of my life have come through traveling. Like,
Stop trying to live the life of someone else. Experience a lot of things and continue to do the things that are working for you. What's the definition of happiness for you? For you, not the thing that you heard. For you, for Sam, what's happiness?
welcome to Ronin Waters, the podcast which has no name, the Nameless podcast. And I want to introduce a very special guest, Anis. This is someone I met here in Bali. I met him at this place called Nomad, which we were staying at, the ghetto. We've upgraded many times since then, but they have the best staff in Bali. So here you go. Introduce yourself.
Hey, my brother. I'm happy to be there with you. My name is Anis Benani. I help service provider make money with Twitter, and today I'm going to ask you some questions to know more about you and your experience here with Twitter. So we're gonna start directly. What's the biggest lesson you learned by coming here in Bali?
Biggest lesson I learned coming here in Bali. I'm not sure it's like a lesson which I learned in Bali. I think it's a lesson I learned in Mexico originally, but I think it's to do with that traveling is all about the people you meet. Like, it's not really about the places you go to, because if all these places were empty and you didn't get to share in those experiences, and I don't mean like the people you travel with as a group, like, but I mean the people you managed to meet. Like, for example, I met you within like the first maybe 2 weeks of being in Bali, and like, you're one of my favorite people who I've met in this trip. I literally said I'll come to Morocco to come and visit you. And it's because like when we sit down and talk, I don't think there's not a conversation we've had where we don't learn from one another, where we don't grow from just interacting with someone. And like, in your own country, it's hard to find people that you can actually have those experiences with, because you're almost all like set in this same box. So when you come out and speak to people who are from a different box and who have a whole different set of experiences and who are all now positioning themselves in this place to learn and grow and interact with people who think in that way, it adds so much value to the way you see the world.
And I say this, when you go out of your comfort zone and you go out to speak to stranger, you understand that everyone is kind. When you go to these kind of places and you understand that one discussion can change your life, and I think you have very good advice and you do something very good, is that you always start with a compliment. I think you can teach a lot of things about people, how to meet other people, because you always start with a compliment. How would you say it's the best advice that you have to meet other people and to create a connection with a stranger?
To realize that they're the same as you, like their perception of like interacting with other people is no different to your own. Like the way you like are worried about going over to speaking to them, they're probably looking at you because they're interested in speaking to you. They just aren't quite like confident enough to go and speak to you. And like, even if you go and speak to someone and like the interaction doesn't go well, like you still won because you went over and spoke to them, like something which you didn't perceive yourself as able to do, or something you didn't even really want to do. And especially when traveling, everyone's nice. Like it's really what you said, like everyone is nice. So it's like, don't not travel because you're afraid of like not being able to make friends. It's 10 times easier to make friends out here. And the other thing is that when you're not in your home country, you don't have to think like the way that you don't think inside the box that everyone else perceives you as in. You can be whoever you want to be. You're completely free because you're detached from all those labels that people have of you in your own society.
And I think you need a different kind of mindset to go out of your hometown and of your country, so you meet only interesting people. People that go solo traveling or traveling with some friends. You need a different kind of mindset to go to another country, and I think you can meet incredible people. And I think this is going to relate to my next question is, what's the best conversation you had here? And what's the lesson you learned about with this conversation?
Fascinating. That's a great question because I know exactly what it was. And you know what's really interesting about it? It was within the first week I was in Bali. I sat down in this very spot. I actually have the transcripts of this conversation because it was the first time I met Dima. And we sat down and we filmed a podcast. And so like I have the transcripts of this thing. So maybe one day I'll release this on YouTube. But this was a fascinating conversation. We were talking about like our shared passion for storytelling and our shared like vision in the fact that they are the way to change reality and to change the world around us, like, and finding someone who is able to understand or comprehend the value in storytelling to the level to which, or to the belief to which, like, I believe it, to the power I believe it has. Well, and if not, he understands even greater how to explain and how to synthesize the information of how powerful it is. And that's something that was a crazy conversation.
And what is a quick tip that you can give to people that they can implement in their life now to get better at storytelling?
To get better at storytelling, start living stories. Because I used to be at university. Used to be at university studying creative writing and English literature in a place called Norwich, and like I dropped out because I realized, like, if I want to tell stories to the world which are inspiring and fascinating, why am I living the most boring and mundane story I could possibly choose to live? Like, it's illogical. Yeah, most people choose to do this. Like, if you want to be a storyteller, live stories. Like, I have way more stories from the past 2 years from this 3 months of traveling, and that's crazy.
You know, what I say always to my client is that the best content don't come from the future, don't come from the present, but the best content comes from the past. So the past story that you lived, the connection that you've made, the calls that you had with your client, when you go back in the past, you're gonna have the best content you create, you're gonna have the best story. But I love this example of live things. I say to people, turn off social media, go live new experiences, and after that you're gonna have things to say, and you're gonna have better stories to tell. I love these quick tips, brother. So I asked you, what's the best lesson you learned here in Bali? But now, what's the best lesson you learned this year, this whole year?
This year, the way we are conditioned to perceive reality is not even close to what reality is. Like, what we believe, like, will make you successful, what we believe is what it takes to get to where you want to get to, is so far from what the actual reality is. Like, there's a lot of things which we can't account for, and a lot of, like, forces at work which we can't necessarily describe. Like, when, for example, the fact we've met, and then, like, the ROI of our friendship, it's not like we've made each other money, but the ROI of our spirit, is something that a lot of people don't account for and don't think, like the coincidence. Like, people think of things like, what do I gain from this? But, like, it's the value which your spirit gained from all of these interactions, all these people you've met. That, like, there's something so much deeper to, like, it's like I saw you, and I had thoughts about you. I thought, I wonder who that guy is. My brain was curious about who is this guy? And so instantly, like, it's like before, it's communication without actually communicating. And there's a lot of these things which the more we become less programmed to think from the way we've always thought, and start to thinking about things from, like, a standpoint of that your brain is way more powerful than you even give it credit for, and that you can detect who you'll like, you can detect who you'll resonate with without even having to speak to them. That's a power that when you can unlock, and there's many powers that exist within this realm which we are just not willing to channel, we are not willing to comprehend. But, like, all of the things that we can't explain, like TVs, Wi-Fi, all this shit that we can't explain, we just blindly accept it. But when if I was to tell you that your brain has powers and can detect someone's vibrational frequency in their head, and you can figure out, or would I resonate with that guy just by looking at them, and letting your brain just make its own decision, people wouldn't believe me. People would think I'm crazy. But there's so much more to reality than what we just see and perceive with our senses. And that is the biggest takeaway. And I'm trying to tune into what is the more, because it's going to take a whole lifetime to try and understand even just a fraction of it. But that's one of my new life's missions, and one of the things I'm really working on this year.
You made the perfect transition. I love the response, my brother. And I want to ask you, when you're gonna be in your deathbed, what are the 3 things you want to be remembered for? So it can be a project that you want to create, a value, something that you want to pass to the next generation.
Okay. I remember you told me this. You went on a date with a girl, and she had no answer. The answer was lacking. So now I have to make sure my answer is performing. So one, I want to be a catalyst of inspiration, to make people see how far they can go in life. Like, I'm not trying to hold their hand and take them there. I'm just trying to enable them to see how far they can go, to believe in how far they can go. And I want to use the story that I lead in this world to do that. But I also want to write stories which make people believe in their ability to do that. I want to encourage people to take advantage of what is, I believe, the greatest privilege. This is the second one, by the way. I want to enable people to take advantage of what I believe is the greatest privilege on this planet. And that's the ability to travel and experience these new cultures, new places. I want to be a catalyst of inspiring people into that way of life, because I think it's the most valuable way to pursue living. Like, I think we are the first humans to ever be so privileged to be able to go anywhere in the world I feel like so many few people really appreciate how great a privilege that is. You can go to Japan, to Cape Town, to China, to America. No, I'm not. I don't want to go to America. I don't even know why I said. But I just thought people want to go to America, so I just said it. But like, believe me, I'm not trying to go there that much. But Mexico, bro, I can go to all of these beautiful places, experience these amazing cultures at 13 hours on a flight, and it costs under £1,000. Do you comprehend how much of a privilege that is? And I feel like, and then one more thing. What else? I just want to help people try and pursue the best version of themselves, which is the same as like being a catalyst of inspiration, but like, yeah, like that's it. Including my family, including everyone I was around, and yeah. I want people to, you know what, the last one I've got a last one. I want people to define what they thought of me for themselves. I'd love to hear what they say. And one day I'm sure in the ethos, in the cosmos, I will. So I'll see what they say. I'll validate my last reason for existence based on the feedback. I'll see what they have to say about me and what they say at my funeral. And there, that's my last one. Whatever they tell me I accomplished in my life, that's my last goal on my deathbed.
This is beautiful, my brother. The answer was not lacking this time, not like with the date. But now I want to ask you, maybe in the podcast, the people that listen to the podcast, there is some people that are scared to go and travel and are scared to go by themselves or with some friend to another country, discover things. What's an advice that you can give that Sams that never traveled would be glad to hear? What's an advice that someone that's scared to travel would unlock something in their head?
All of the most valuable experiences of my life have come through traveling. Like, for example, I feel like in terms of even in entrepreneurship, I never really had any kind of desire to be rich in any sense of the word. Like, because in England, I just saw like, I guess, rich people, and I thought, well, like I don't want to be rich here. This doesn't excite me. But then I started traveling and seeing the world, and I thought, imagine being able to see the world in an unfiltered way, in exactly the way you'd want to see it, and being able to help people in the places you go, and actually to tip like what you want to tip someone, and not just like what you're able to tip someone. You're able to build projects. Like, for example, in Jamaica, I'd love to build basketball courts in every community, because I just think if these kids had something to do, it would completely revolutionize like the crime rates in Jamaica. And like just going to all these different places, you find opportunities. You have a unique capacity to provide value and provide solutions to problems out there in the world. So you're almost like, by not traveling, you're depriving the world of the solutions that you can provide it. And like my advice for someone who's scared of it is that, I'm going to use Mexico as an example. So I went to Mexico for 2 months when I was like 18 years old, and like everyone who has not been to Mexico is telling me, oh, it's so dangerous, it's so dangerous, it's so dangerous, it's so... Every single person who has been to Mexico, or that I know, will tell you like it's the best place in the world, it's the best place in the world, it's the best place in the world. And what is that? It's just a faulty paradigm. How can someone who's not been there tell you it is this way, and someone who's been there will tell you it is this way, and then everyone's like belief system about this place is based on this? And I'm not saying that you should go to Mexico because it can be dangerous. You have to be vigilant and have to be aware, but like the worry is in here. It's not out there. Like when you're in Bali, like life couldn't be better. Life is excellent here. So like it couldn't be better. And so the worry is all in here. You just have to understand that the worry is in here and not out there. Like you created it. Like it's a placebo and you buy into that belief.
It's just people that they put their stress, they put their fear into you, so you can not experience what they are fearing to experience. Yeah.
I have another thing to say actually. Like it's from a book I've been reading. I'm not going to tell you the name of the book because it's too good. You know the name of the book. Yeah. It's a pendulum. It's an energetic pendulum. So people like have all of this thoughts about a certain place. It's just trying to suck in people's energy. That's all it is. It's just a massive energy which is all trying to attract and more energy to it. And like when everyone's thinking Mexico's dangerous, it just feeds the pendulum. But then like it's when you detach from the pendulum, you break free, you're able to actually like tune into your heart and tune into your mind, and they can synchronize, and you'll actually see reality for what it is. You'll see the beauty in the world for what it is, not through the lens of they told me it was dangerous, but through the lens of this is the most beautiful place I've ever been to in the world. The people are the nicest people I've ever met in the world. This is the best food I've eaten in my life, and I've had some of the most fascinating discoveries about life in this area of the world.
You know what I say to people? I say to them that you need to stop experiencing life by the life of someone else. For example, if someone tell you, yeah, you have to work at 6 a.m. or you have to work by night, you don't know. You need to experience it for yourself. You need to know what's working for me. What's the best thing for me? Not what's the best thing about someone else's story. No, what's working for me? Yeah, they told you, yeah, you need to like this kind of girl or you need to do this kind of thing. No, experience life, experience everything, and you're gonna understand what do I like, what is the thing that make me fulfilled, what's the thing that I want to continue to do. Stop. You have to stop to live the life of someone else. I see a lot of people that say, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a billionaire. Why? Because they heard someone say, I want to be a millionaire or a billionaire. But maybe this guy that's saying I want to be a millionaire, his perfect life, he's making 10,000 euros, having a wife and 2 kids, but not being a millionaire. Don't stop trying to live the life of someone else. Experience a lot of things and continue to do the things that working for you.
100%. There's a thing called a drive vacuum. Like, for example, like what would you say your goal is? Like, what would you say your goal is?
I have 3 big missions in life. My first one is make people happier. So I want to help people be happier, and I think you cannot be happy without self-development. So help them understand themselves, help them to be more themselves, because I think it's the key to happiness is to understand yourself and to be more yourself. The second thing that I want to help people believe in love again, because I think that there is nothing more beautiful than the love between a man and a woman. And the third thing is showing to people that Africa is not a third world continent, and if we give to these people the tools and the infrastructure, they can make incredible things. I come from Morocco and I saw people doing incredible things with nothing. I heard stories in Africa of people creating startups, creating projects with nothing. So I cannot imagine what happened if you give gold to these people. What if you give them everything? What can they do? I think they can do incredible things. So these are my 3 big missions in life. And
and so, like, choose one of your goals. Choose one of them. Which one?
Help people be happier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've helped people be happier. I want to do a thing called a drive vacuum. So why do you want to help people be happier?
Because I think that I'm the happiest person that I know, and I know the impact that I can have on the life of people, and seeing other people get happier because of me, I think it's the best feeling ever.
And why would you say that is?
Good question. I think when you have a lot of self-consciousness, I can say, yeah, because that's make me happy to see other people happy, but maybe it's a need of recognition. I think when you help other people be happy, you feel that you get recognition from other people, but you feel you change the life of the other people. I don't know how to say it, but yeah, I think when you see that you have an impact on the life of the people, you say to yourself, okay, I'm useful. I'm useful, yeah.
Yeah. And why is it you want to be useful, like, to society, or why is that your goal?
Because I had the chance to just grow up with 2 parents that gave me love, just had the chance to eat everyday food, I have the chance to drink every day, to have a place to sleep. And when you see the world, and when you come to places like Thailand, you come to places like Bali, you see that there is not a lot of people that have this kind of chance. Just, I say to all my friends, just the chance to think about entrepreneurial, about business, it's a chance, because there is people that are just in survival mode. They just need to bring food. So when you have a good place and you can think about doing other things, I think it's a big chance. So this is why I want to do this, because I understand that in my life I had a lot of chance. Just like I told you, just have a parent that give you love. When you travel here and you listen to story of people that get abandoned, people that have no relationship, you understand the chance that you have. So I want to give back this chance, the chance that I had, to a lot of people.
100%. And that's like a drive vacuum. So you strip the initial, like, presumed reasoning back and back and back and back until you get to the core of it. And I don't even know necessarily whether I got to the core of it, but just like we're far closer to the core just through asking why.
I want to ask you a question. What's happiness for you? What's the definition of happiness for you? For you, not the thing that you heard. For you, for Sam, what's happiness?
Like, it is something I heard. but I resonate with what I heard, I guess. So the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, and I think it's a worthy ideal to strive to be an inspiration and a catalyst of inspiration to see how people, to make people see how far they can go in life. Because imagine a world where everyone feels inspired. Imagine like a society where everyone feels like they are capable of incredible things. Like imagine how far humanity could go. I would love to answer that question. So that for me would be a inspiring way to live.
I think the last message that I want to say is spread positivity in the world, spread good messages, help other people, help your friend, and I think it's the most fulfilling things you can do. I was saying this to Sam a few days ago, is that helping a stranger, it's an incredible feeling, but helping a friend, it's the best feeling that you can ever experience. So if you are on your self-development journey and you see your friends that are interested in this, help them go on the journey with you, and you're gonna have the best experience ever.
Facts. Bringing people along on the journey with you has been one of the greatest things that I've ever chosen to do. Like, for example, my business partner was not a businessman when I met him at university. He became a businessman through just like interacting together and like me trying to help him. Like now, in so many ways, he helps me strive for more. So it's like, it's really a powerful thing. And I can think of all of my friends, like it's a mutual exchange of just helping each other. That's really all it is. Like, that's why we're friends. So I second everything he said. Be tuned into round 2. Throw up 2. You have to throw up 2s, bro.